Wealth, guys, does not come from income. That's not the way you grow your wealth. It's about equity that you build, which dictates your net worth. Welcome to the Heartland Multifamily Show, the shorter, more profitable path to multifamily ownership and investing. Everybody, it's Darren Garman, and welcome to the Heartland Multifamily Show, the place for all things multifamily. And let's talk about, in this episode, something that's making headlines, and that's billionaires. So how do these guys get to be a billionaire in terms of their businesses? How does this happen? Because there's a huge misunderstanding out there about how to become a billionaire with businesses. It's a huge misunderstanding. So let me take a step back and share with you an article I read in Wall Street Journal a couple days ago. Google's looking at buying this startup company for a little bit over $30 billion. It'll be the biggest acquisition that Google, if it goes through, has made, I think, ever. So if you read about this company, you'll find out that this is a kind of a startup company that has been in business now, I believe, less than 10 or 15 years. And it's going to be sold for $30 billion. How does that happen? How does a business start and get to be worth $30 billion? How does that happen? Well, let's talk about how it doesn't happen and where wealth of billions of dollars comes from. Wealth, guys, does not come from income. Your wealth is not based on the income that you bring in. You know, I had a meeting with a business owner here recently, and he was talking that his top line was a little over $6 million last year, but his net income after all of expenses was just a little bit under $500,000. Again, that's not terrible, having an income of $500,000, but when you got $6 million coming in, $500,000. And so at the end of the day, there's two main strategies or two main ideas that you want to lock in terms of you ever wanting to have a $1 billion exit. So again, I told you, the chief thing you need to understand is it's not about your income. It's about equity that you build, which dictates your net worth. A lot of business owners are talking about the long term. My main focus is on 5 years from now. What do things look like years down the road, not 3 or 4 months down the road? Now, in terms of real estate with our multifamily properties, we of course need income. We need income to, of course, pay our expenses. We need income in order to have a payroll that's going to be met. We need income. Of course, it's very important. But at the end of the day, with a real estate property, a multifamily property, when do you get your largest cash flow? When you sell. That's when you get your largest cash flow. So the focus then is on the equity that you're building until you sell. So much like the company that Google is looking at purchasing for $30 billion, their biggest cash flow is going to be, their being the company that's going to be acquired, their biggest cash flow is going to be when they sell. So do you see how the focus needs to be moved or manipulated towards equity versus income? How do I build equity as quickly as possible? Whether it's in a business, whether it's in real estate, or if none of those things interest you, you can also build equity in the investments that you make. So you take that income and you plow a bunch of it in mutual funds, maybe crypto, because you better be doing that if you want to have a net worth that is significant. Because if you're not doing at least that, if you're not owning your own business or investing in a business that builds equity, and you're just focusing on making as much income as you can, and that's your main focus, and that's going to continue to be the road, the track you're going to go on, you're going to get to be 50, 60 years old and wonder, well, what in the hell happened here? Where's my net worth at? You see, this is one of the main reasons why the average net worth is less than $100,000 in this country. Let me tell you where this really turned around for me. So for many years, I spent hundreds of hours specializing in selling apartment communities. And by the way, we still have a very successful brokerage business where we sell apartment communities for people. But that was my focus. A sales guy. I'm bringing in income, but I'm not doing anything with the income. I'm spending it. And I'm looking at my net worth and I'm like, shit, what's going on here? Where's my money? Where's all the money I've been making? And then it dawned on me. Equity is where I need to be focusing. Rather than just selling these apartment communities, what did I start doing? Started buying them. Why? Equity, building year after year, growing that equity until I get to a point where, man, finally, I'm at that point where that net worth is where I really envision it to be. And I want to keep working on that because my sole focus now is on the equity side of things. Income's important. That still takes time to effort, energy to work on that, obviously. But guys, the equity side of things is really one of those things that many, many people miss. They don't realize until it's too late. Take a lesson from your Uncle Darren here in Iowa. Take a lesson from me. And the lesson is income is important. You can't do without income, to have at least meet your daily cares of life, obviously. But if that's all you've been focusing on and you're at a point in your world where there's much more for you, and maybe it's not $1 billion exit. Maybe it is $1 billion exit. God bless you if it is. I'm happy for you. Okay, but maybe it's not. But if your net worth is not where it needs to be in your mind, start focusing more on the equity side of things than the income side of things. And you'll notice things will slowly, but they will start turning around for you. All right. And so this is one of those episodes of the Heartland Multifamily Show where we don't dive too deep into the weeds of multifamily, but we dive deep into some concepts, some conceptual things that are transferable to any other areas out there, especially in the financial world. Lessons learned, and this is a big lesson that I hope has resonated with you, and you'll understand just how important it is to focus your time, effort, and energy on the equity side of things versus the income side of things. So thanks for joining me today on this episode of the Heartland Multifamily Show, the place for all things multifamily. Have a great day. We'll see you. Bye-bye. If you want to get your hands on more great multifamily real estate content, make sure you click here. If you want to invest passively in great multifamily real estate, make sure you click here.